Hi, I'm Steve Lindsay, commander of STS-133. You're watching NASA TV.
Space Shuttle Discovery, the venerable veteran of America's human spaceflight fleet, proudly resting atop Launch Pad 39A here at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Her wings outstretched and ready to soar into space for the 39th and final time.
And here we have the crew walking out of crew quarters. This is a very historical walkway. It's the same path that the Apollo astronauts took to go to the moon. And over the last 30 years, there's been 133 odd shuttle crews that have walked out here to catch this bus for the exciting ride out to the launch pad. The crew will step out of the Astrovan, and you'll probably see them step back and look up, which is a little hard to do in the heavy suits that they have. But you get an opportunity to stand there and see the shuttle from a very unique perspective. The view itself is spectacular, but your perspective is particularly unique because you know that it is the ride that's going to take you out into orbit. There you can see the crew having a group hug and a little quiet moment for themselves to consolidate their thoughts. Wish each other well, and then it's back to work.
20 seconds. The sound suppression water system has been activated, protecting Discovery and the launch pad from acoustical energy waves. Go for main engine start. We have main engine start. 2, 1. Booster ignition and the final liftoff of Discovery. A tribute to the dedication, hard work, and pride of America's Space Shuttle team. The shuttle has cleared the tower.
Roger, Discovery.
This is Mission Control in Houston. The Space Shuttle now rolling over onto its back for an 8.5-minute ride into orbit. Discovery now making one last reach for the stars. Throttling down as the orbiter passes through the area of maximum pressure, reducing the stress on the shuttle as it goes supersonic.
Discovery Houston, you are go at throttle up.
Commander Steve Lindsay acknowledging the call from Capcom Charlie Hobaugh as Discovery's 3 main engines throttle back up. Lindsay is joined on the flight deck by pilot Eric Bowen, mission specialist Al Drew, and Nicole Stott. Mission specialist Mike Barrett and Steve Bowen. Discovery's 3 main engines are burning fuel at a rate that would drain an average swimming pool in about 25 seconds. The engines combined with the solid rocket boosters produce more than 7 million pounds of thrust. 1 minute, 50 seconds into the flight, we're standing by for separation of the twin solid rocket boosters. Discovery now traveling 2,695 miles an hour. Its altitude 24 miles. Downrange from the Kennedy Space Center 29 miles. Booster separation confirmed. Discovery's guidance is now converging as the shuttle's onboard computers fine-tune the flight. Two minutes, 25 seconds into the flight, Discovery traveling 3,189 miles an hour. Its altitude 37 miles. Downrange from the Kennedy Space Center 53 miles.
In Houston, we have a tally ho on the ISS out the front windows.
Great news, Discovery.
thing is a lot bigger since the last time I was here.
We've been busy.
Discovery is right above South America at this point in time, heading to the northeast, about to cross out over the Atlantic Ocean, still trailing back behind. The International Space Station now less than 40 miles separating the two spacecraft. Discovery is heading to a point 600 feet down below the International Space Station. Space Shuttle Discovery on its way toward performing this rendezvous pitch maneuver for the final time. Discovery was the first shuttle to ever do this maneuver back during STS 114.
My call, initiating RPM. 3, 2, 1, mark.
This RPM maneuver was created in the wake of Shuttle Columbia. It was put into every shuttle mission that has visited the space station since then. And it gives the ground teams here in Houston a chance to take a look at the shuttle in detail to make sure that the outer part of the shuttle and the heat shield is as they expect it to be. Discovery putting on quite a show there as it and the space station fly over the northeastern part of South America, about to head out over the Atlantic Ocean. Now just 20 feet away. Discovery about to make some history here as it docks with the International Space Station for the final time. This will be the 13th time Discovery has visited the station. His first docking ever was Mir back on STS 91 back in June of 98. First time it greeted the space station was on STS 96 back in May of 99.
Station in Houston, Discovery has capture confirmed.
Docking confirmed in 1:14 p.m. Central Time.
Discovery copies, redirect.
Discovery has now made its final docking to the International Space Station.
Yay! Hey! All right.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Steve,
Hello. How you doing?
Hi, Steve.
Ima.
Yeah,
Good to see you. How you doing?
Hey,
Hey.
how are you?
Hello. Coming at
See
you.
you.
Coming at you.
Woohoo, Nicholas.
You too. Hello. Hello. You too. Excellent. 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 Video girl.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, man.
I'm doing a very good job.
Hey, how are you?
We're doing what we do, you know?
Here's my buddy. I got it.
Hey.
Nice to see you here.
Good to see you.
Expected to come.
I know. Us too.
Great to see you.
See you.
Mr. Bob.
Hey,
Welcome.
Hey, Katie, how are you? Good to see you. Sasha, good to see you.
Well, this place is grown.
Isn't it beautiful?
How are you?
Huge. I'm fine. You?
I'm good, Katie.
Hey, how are
much
you?
bigger.
This seems so familiar. It's unbelievable. Look at you guys.
Woohoo.
Welcome, Marsha. Good to see you. Yes.
Man, all these people.
Alberto.
The next big activity for some of the crew members will be to begin the installation of Express Logistics Carrier 4 onto the space station's truss structure. Mission specialists Mike Barrett and Nicole Stott will be taking up their station at the controls of Canadarm2 inside the station's cupola module, while Eric Bowe and Al Drew will be flying the space shuttle arm from the aft flight deck. Express Logistics Carrier 4 now being held above the shuttle payload bay by Canadarm2. Lifted high enough to have cleared the OBSS on the starboard sill, as well as the permanent multi-purpose module in the payload bay behind it. And this wider perspective shot, you can see the shuttle arm poised to begin to move in to grapple that open fixture. And you can see the station arm from its base here on the underside of Harmony module, just below and left of the center in this view, holding the ELC out over the starboard edge of Discovery's payload bay. And here's a camera view inside the cupola. Nicole Stott is also making use of the camera views on the monitors in front of her as she flies Canadarm2 to move back in to re-grapple the ELC-4. This robotics workstation had previously been installed in the laboratory, and after the delivery of the cupola was relocated so that shuttle arm operators, in many cases, have a direct eyeball view of the activity of the robotic arm which they are controlling. Now I can see the ELC-4 in motion. The Canadarm2 being flown by Nicole Stott, now moving the ELC toward its installation position on the S3 truss segment.
Houston Station on the Big Loop for robotics. Go ahead. Yeah, Stan, I just wanted to thank Mike for being the voice of ELC-4 up here today and let you guys know how much we appreciate your help and that it was really very impressive working from the cupola and watching how these arms work together and getting ELC berths to the truss.
Thanks for those words, Nicole, and you guys rock. It was wonderful watching you from here.
Butt it up against the corner and Nicole sits back.
Okay, Nicole,
Okay,
describe your day.
All right, can you see the cupola?
Yes, they can.
All right, so this is a beautiful place to work from. You'll see we're pointing towards the Earth, just beautiful panoramic windows, and very fortunately we have the robotics workstation set up in here so that we can work with both the station arm and then in partnership with the guys over on the shuttle who have the shuttle robotic arm. And today Mike and I did some work moving the big shuttle boom out and around and handing it off to the shuttle arm. And then later Katie and I got to do a task that we call a walk-off, which is where we take one end of the arm, put it on a place on the station, take the other end off, and now the base and the tip are exchanged. So basically this arm is very cool because you can move it all over the space station to different spots, and it gives you different access to do all kinds of work across the space station.
So here we have B. Alvin Drew and Steve Bowen, uncharacteristically speechless. Actually, they can't talk because they're wearing masks. And the reason they're wearing masks is because they're terribly comfortable. And they're starting to pre-breathe oxygen to wash the nitrogen out of their bodies, getting ready for their spacewalk tomorrow. In about a half hour, we're going to shut the door here, and they're going to depress down to about 10.2 psi, roughly about 10,000 feet in altitude. And they'll spend the night there. And we'll let them out for a short time in the morning to hit the bathroom and clean up a little bit, and then we'll go back in here, and they'll be on masks for that. And once they get back in here, we'll get them all dressed up in their spacesuits and ready to go out the door.
Michael and Nicole and Paolo are getting Steve ready here on the right. You can see Alvin over here on the left. Get ready for EVA-1.
The last few millimeters of mercury of pressure drop are the slowest. We're coming through about a half a psi, and it's taking forever to get down there so that Steve will be able to get the hatch open. But we're about 45 minutes ahead of the timeline.
Okay, we're on the flight deck of Discovery.
You have it, thank you, Al. All right, Nicole, I think
Steve and Al are out the door.
I'm done. Proceed.
That's correct, Steve. If Al has both the airlock cable and the extension cable, you can move over to the Node 3 end cone, and you'll be looking for handrail 0667. It's a radial handrail.
There's an up-close view of Steve Bowen as he works toward the end of the station's robotic arm.
Okay, Nick, I retrieve those bags and I'm off en route to the warehouse handrail. Okay, Al, you're heading over to LAD handrail 0230-0216.
This is a view from Al Drew's helmet cam. He's moving around outside the station. You can see some of those gap spanners there that the crew members use to move from one section to another. Steve Bowen there getting the view of a lifetime down at the Earth below and the entire International Space Station complex.
Feeling good out there? Just bending and stretching, you know, you're going to wake up at some time. Going through the romper room song in my head. That coffee ought to be kicking in any time now.
Back behind Bowen in this view is Shuttle Discovery, which you can obviously see there, the nose of the orbiter. Down below him is a Japanese HTV cargo craft. You can also see the Columbus Laboratory there toward the right-hand side.
Okay, you're coming up on the guide, you're about a few inches out. To your left, can you in the guide, continue aft. I see both pins in the guide. I see both pins in the guide. Okay, continue aft. Okay, count tests are complete on the 8. PGT, ready for settings.
All right, Al. Alpha 2, counterclockwise 2. All right, you're going to release the AGB bolt 2 to 4 turns.
That didn't work, Nicole. That's complete net.
Okay, Al, you can now move over to pull the T-handle out to the unlock position, and you should see 2 white lines visible once you do that.
All right.
What step are you guys on? Mike?
Right now they're in work bolting the pump module into place on this new location on the ESP2 there. So that's great. We got it off of the POA and onto the ESP2, and we're going to do a few cleanup steps and connections and caps.
Okay, go forward next.
This space station camera view shows us ELC-4 newly installed on the nadir side of the starboard truss, and the space station's robotic arm, which is moved out of the way. Just in the upper edge of the frame, you can see the spacewalkers translating out to near that ELC-4. That's where they'll be installing a wedge on a camera platform in order to tilt that camera stanchion away from the new spare parts platform to provide clearance for parts to be stored on it.
I see those cells only showed up. Yep.
And from Houston, good numbers.
I don't see any jet. Okay, it looks like it's on there. Let's be real deliberate coming out of here, make sure our tethers are all straight. I totally agree.
Me too.
I'm taking my rat off as a stanchion. I think you got it on there pretty good.
All right, you guys, I know there's more important things to do, but we want to take a picture of you.
Okay. Maybe not. You see them up there with the camera? I'm looking. Look out a second. Okay, see where I'm pointing? Right up there. Okay. Oh, yeah, I see them now. Okay,
beautiful.
Right here.
Excellent, you guys.
Okay. Okay, that's good. All right, back to work.
Cracking the whip now.
I'm at my job. Oh, do you need me to get in your eye? Yeah, that's in the bottom.
And stand by, Al. Houston, if you agree, we're going to let Steve finish up the whip extender task and then head back to the airlock, and then we'll be ready for...
You're not going to sing, are you?
Message in a bottle. Okay, we'll be working message in a bottle next.
We got sunshine, so that'll be good. Outstanding.
That's Steve Bowen in the center of this camera view
I'll give you 1 second.
to get himself stabilized with the camera to get close-up pictures of Al Drew on the right as he performs the message in a bottle activity. And now from Al Drew's helmet camera, you can see in the lower right-hand corner, his right hand is holding the bottle.
All right, there you go. Okay.
Here he comes. The Alvin Drew, first EVA. What are you going to do now, Al?
I'm gonna have dinner like a quarter horse.
How was it?
That was awesome. Oh man, that was great. That views were outstanding.
You looked fantastic out there. Looked totally natural.
I was faking it really well.
Baking it a little bit? All right, go get some food.
All right.
All right, and back here already pulling out his sleeping bag because I think sleeping is something he wants to do more than eating, maybe. Steve, how was it? EVA
It went well, actually. It went pretty well, I thought. I mean, Al was awesome. First time out the door, that was incredible.
Yeah,
really
he
did.
did great.
Very impressive.
Here's Mike Barrett,
Good morning.
who has about 18 things for breakfast. What are you having this morning?
Well, Steve Bowen stopped at the Starbucks and bought us all coffee.
Oh, good.
So that's where we're
Good.
starting.
Great.
And let's see, we're having granola.
Uh-huh.
Crunchy until you're rehydrated.
Uh-huh.
Scrambled eggs.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much everything is crunchy until you're rehydrated.
Uh-huh.
And let's see what else we have down here. Citrus fruit salad.
How about you, Bim?
I got some of the tasty stuff that Alvin had. Water.
Water? Good.
And I've also got in the heater over here, got some eggs going on, taking what Mike has and putting water in it, heating it up. Cereal. And I'm gonna have some yogurt.
That's pretty exciting. Well,
It's the start of a new day.
and what are you doing today?
Well, today Mike and I are going to move the PMM, which is the big module that's currently in the payload bay of Discovery, over to the station, and that will complete the assembly of the ISS.
And what's your motivation?
My motivation?
Your motivation for doing well today?
Oh, for doing well today?
Yes.
Well, we want to make sure that station can continue through 2020 at least, and that we can continue with the science and great stuff that's going on up here.
real personal
I thought
real personal motivation?
I thought Al's motivation was better than that.
What's Al's motivation?
Fear.
World peace?
He said if
fear?
if he didn't do a good job, because I told him if he didn't do a good job, I wouldn't let him back in the airlock.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the
But
negative
I was
motivation.
standing next to you. I would have let
Yeah,
him
that's true.
Now she tells me.
Houston Station on the Big Loop for Robo, and if you guys are set, we'll go ahead and start marching through step one of the PMM unberth and install.
This PMM is fairly large in size. It's 21 feet long, 15 feet in diameter. It's bringing up quite a number of supplies. It has 14 racks inside, which includes express rack number 8, which is an experiment rack. There are 6 resupply stowage platforms, 5 resupply stowage racks, and 2 integrated stowage platforms, so quite a bit of equipment coming up, including Robonaut 2. But it is bound for the Earth-facing side of Unity.
Houston Discovery on the Big Loop Robo, pushing in for the PMM grapple.
So here's a shot of our PMM coming in. You can see it's just about in position. The red glowing light in the bottom of the screen is the CBCS, the target with the light that it's going to. I'm going
Which
to
is
go
kind
out
of
the
cool.
window.
It's neat that we have a camera that's mounted there that helps
Oh,
guide
yeah.
us in.
There's at the top of the cupola window, you can see the rest of the PMM coming in. And
All right, so how about some numbers?
came out of this down here, the orbiter, which is sitting down there, the empty bays where it just came out of. Here's where Mike and Nikki are working on it. Just put it into its position. They're going to drive it in manually here shortly. There's a look at this beautiful robotics workstation.
Can you see it? Pretty good.
There's the controls that Mike's working on. You see his hands down on the hand controllers.
We're position hold, but we're still damping a little bit, so let's just give it a couple of potatoes. Got a little tiny bit of angle bounce, but it's pretty stable.
And here's a shot of our heroes at work, which is really hard to shoot. There's Mike. Wave to the camera, big smiles.
Hello, nice people.
They look happy.
We are happy.
We are happy.
Uh-huh.
There's happiness.
That's right, they're doing good.
So Mike Barrett and Nicole Stott's role so far on hold. They've done a good job of getting the PMM over to Unity.
RTL is complete, and your go for first stage capture.
Copy. Go maneuvers complete to RTL and go for first stage capture. And good job, Nicole, Mike.
Thank you.
Eric Bowe and Katie Coleman are going to be working on the common berthing mechanism. This is what will actually latch PMM onto Unity.
And Nicole and Mike on the big loop for the SSRMS. You are go for SSRMS mode to limp.
Copy, go for mode to limp.
I'll stow position, pressurization valve I'm taken to closed. Ratchet, latch position.
Top panel pull out.
Top panel pull out.
Stowage latch handle pull up.
Okay. So you got that one?
This guy pull up.
Yep. I actually you don't pull it. Yeah, you just grab it like that.
Grab it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just kind of really very close.
They're all
Push
little.
the top panel ratchet. You can take that off too, Scott. Attach to that handrail right there if you want.
Okay. Push, pull up. Right? Lock it.
Yep.
There we go.
This pins in.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
All right.
PMM
Now the fun comes.
with Robonaut, still hopefully with his seatbelt on.
Yeah, I think he's in the window.
He's
Look.
looking through the window saying, "Let me out! I've been
Let me
sitting
out!
here
It's been 4 months.
4 months. What took you guys so long?"
As Lindsay and Bo get ready to open the hatch in the PMM, their crewmates who are nearby in the Quest airlock for the EVA procedure review have called a timeout and have come out to watch.
Give it to one of those guys.
You guys ready? Here we go.
Let's go.
Let's do it. Ready? You have the speech? I don't have a camera.
It's my watching club.
Woohoo! It's nice and cool. Yeehaw!
5:17 p.m. Houston time, the hatch is opened into the permanent multi-purpose module, the final pressurized module of the U.S. section of the International Space Station.
So just expect to see
You can see it
right.
so you might be able to
Wait, thank you.
Wait,
Wait, again.
Hey.
Sorry. Oh. Handshake? All right.
You guys want to go in?
Oh yeah, we're going in. We're gonna have a whole everybody in there.
PMM party.
Get in there, Sasha. Get in.
Заходите.
Все 12 человек?
Конечно.
Почему нет?
Already has a fellow. Acts like the crowd.
This we get to rename it Michelangelo. The fourth Ninja Turtle.
Wow.
It's got that Duke card.
Woohoo!
You can hear me if you listen right here.
It's big.
Lindsay, what's the maximum occupancy in this one?
Thank you.
Whoops.
Depends how many people are on board station.
Yeah.
Here's Robonaut.
Yeah. Coming.
Everybody put your head in this circle.
Hey, so you guys, whose names are these?
All the people who worked on it.
range.
Wow.
You guys need to sign it too.
Yeah, you do.
360.
Write your name there. Where did we write? We wrote. Can we find it? Yep, there we
It's
are.
pretty neat.
Cobra, me, Al.
Oh, I see Tim.
There's
Use
Mike.
our D3. That way you can get away with no
Where's
flash.
everybody?
Wow.
Cole's here working out on the mid deck, getting ready for her day. How's it feeling?
Feeling good. This is nice. We get every day. We get scheduled. It's about 30 minutes to exercise, and the machine we have is a bike. We also have some straps we can use to work the arms out a little bit, and it's It's nice. Work up a little sweat and feel like you got the muscles going because we don't use those too much up here.
Good way to start the day.
Yeah.
So the guys are all suited up. We had a little leak problem with Steve's suit. Ended up being traced to an O-ring on one of the lithium hydroxide canisters we used to scrub the CO2. And a little O-ring had a bite taken out of it for whatever reason, and was making the whole suit leak. So we found that out, and we were lucky to have a spare in the airlock here, and put that on. Sealed him up, and he's good and tight. Right now, Nicole's going to check off all the tools and bags and make sure everything is exactly where it should be. Nikki ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. She has all this in her head and in her diagrams.
This guy doesn't like his bungee. This guy don't like his bungee.
What do you think? What are you going to do after this CD? Are you going to go to Disney World?
Going straight to Disney World.
All right, just checking. You do good.
Okay, he's going his feet
He was
first,
proud,
so let's turn
boy.
this way.
There's
Go the other way.
Steve with an assortment of bags getting ready to go out the door.
That's good, just like
Here's
that.
our hard-working team of Mike,
A little bit farther down.
Paulo,
We may need to free
and
up this.
Nicole, who's always got a smile on her
Yeah.
face.
Okay, and when you are ready, you can lift Awapa from the Fram.
Awapa is off the Fram and in my hands.
All right, and when you're comfortable, you can give Mike the go to the back-off position.
Mike, you have a go to proceed to the back-off position. Copy that, Steve. Great work. Arm's coming alive. We'll be with you momentarily.
Here's a shot of Steve Bowen still on the end of the station's robotic arm. He is on his way over to Discovery's payload bay to install this lightweight adapter plate into it.
And about a meter to go, Steve.
That sounds just about right, Mike. I've got a good eye on Bravo. Copy?
All right, we're on the flight deck watching EVA-2, and Nicole is working as the quarterback, making it happen. Where are we, and how are we doing?
We're doing really well. They've been following instructions exceptionally well today as I boss them around. And we're moving really, moving really nicely through the tasks. Several of the things that we thought we might have issues with just because of the way the hardware is when we worked in the pool just went so smoothly here today. And Al's moving back to the airlock to plug into some oxygen for a little bit and pick up another bag to move on to another task. And Steve is out still on the end of the arm, finishing up some work that he was doing out on the SPDM.
This is Robonaut being introduced to his new home aboard the space station.
No way.
He's very big. Hopefully he won't take over like Al.
Oh, get some in?
Al.
Here he comes.
Very nice.
Houston airlock on space to ground 2. With a good leak check, we're going to proceed with rebus.
Watch the MPC.
Okay. That's as much as it goes in. Yeah, no. That's right. Bag could go up a little bit more. Yeah, see if you can get that bag in a little better position back there, maybe.
That's it. All right.
From EVA-2, both
You're going to put it on,
Al
right?
and Steve did a super job today.
We're going to take off the batteries and put the helmet lines back. Open it up. I got the bottom. Wow.
Smelling it?
The smell of space.
Smell of space. Smells good.
They look almost as fresh as they did at the beginning of the evening.
Let's go. Daisies.
Send them out again.
Ready to send them out again. We're just
Here, let me check.
gonna swap out for some Mattox and
No,
send
not
you
as
out.
good as this morning.
You doesn't smell it.
Your call.
My LTA comes up pretty easy.
Now, here's the hardest part: is getting out of the suit afterwards.
He's easy.
Are you still gonna go to Disney World, Al? Or are you gonna do something different?
Oh, I'm going Disney World.
All right, just checking.
In your mind.
In your mind.
Discovery and ISS, please stand by for the President.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Mr. President. Welcome aboard the International Space Station.
Well, look, I wanted to call and just say how personally proud I am of you and all that you're accomplishing. We are always inspired by the images of you guys at work as you put some of the final pieces in place to make ISS fully operational. And you are setting such a great example with your dedication, your courage, your commitment to exploration. These are traits that built America, and you guys personify them. And Colonel Lindsay, it must be a great honor to be the last commander of the Discovery. It's traveled more distance in space and spent more time in orbit than any of its peers in the shuttle fleet. So it's appropriate that it's performing this critical and iconic mission and adding to the legacy by working on this ISS assembly to full operations.
Well, thank you, sir. On behalf of the crew, it's a real privilege for us to get to fly Discovery on her final mission, and we were actually trying to calculate with now we're going to land on Wednesday, and we're calculating. We think that when we land, Discovery will have flown in space for 365 days, so for a whole year, which is pretty incredible for a vehicle. And she's been into space, I think 39 times, and that's a pretty incredible record. And she won't be forgotten for a long, long time, we hope.
Now we're entering into the lab module, the U.S. lab module. And down on the deck, we'll find, I believe, Dr. Mike Barrett, Commander Steve Lindsay. A little difficult to make them out right here, but what they're doing is they have just transferred this big, large rack from our PMM, the new module that was installed, and they transferred it here into the lab module for operation. I believe this has another refrigerator in it and some other science lockers as well. Oh look, there's Commander Lindsay coming out of
failing
the rack.
miserably.
No, just tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
I have no idea.
Oh, come on.
No. We're trying to rotate into position. We got a bracket in the way, and I'm trying to take it off, and the axis is just
okay. Sometimes the simplest things, right?
I was pulling it with the out force and cranking it, and it's like
Ooh, B. Alvin Drew, coming out of the newest and, as we know right now, final U.S. module to be attached to the International Space Station. What's going on down in there today, Al?
We're installing brackets.
Brackets?
Brackets. Brackets for racks.
All right, because there's a lot of racks down in there, aren't there?
A lot of rack spaces down there. And
so this is a nice big new closet, kind of storage area.
Yep.
All right, and we're going to move things from the station in here and take some stuff back. And I'll just take you in and show you. Nice music playing. This is a nice big space. And back in the corner, there he is, Steve Bowen, working hard on a bracket. He's going to have to say a few words to us. Do it.
It's just like a Saturday afternoon in the garage.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Except I have the right tools at home.
The lovely Katie Coleman entering the PMM. With tools. Ooh, maybe it's the right tools. Well, we're trying. In the Melfi to Glacier transfer of samples.
It's cold.
Very cold. And it's got some ice packs. We're going to put these in this little bag here. And then we're going to collect some samples and move them out of Melfi, the big freezer on the space station, and over to the little freezer that we just moved onto the space shuttle to bring home. Okay, back at Melfi. Here's one of the cool things at Melfi.
Very refreshing.
A little frost.
Like a cool mountain stream.
We're back in the PMM.
Yes.
There's action going on in here. There's so much action. Look,
Yes.
every corner you go to, there's somebody working on a rack. This is Al again. Al.
I'm not doing anything.
He's not doing
I
anything.
just finished that bracket over there.
Okay. Yeah. Move along. Steve. Look, he's still in that same corner where we left him the last time. It's a beautiful thing. He finds ways to occupy himself.
Not doing anything.
All right.
Don't tell anyone.
Misha.
Unbelievable.
Misha.
Minutes and minutes, and I've almost got 1 out of 6.
And then
These.
Okay.
Did you think that that's good enough?
What are you guys doing?
Breathing in pure oxygen.
Pure O2, baby.
Pure O2?
Yep.
Is it good?
It's good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah? Yep. Nothing like some pure O2 after having 12 people in the PMM for a long period of time, huh?
Hey, big bucks for this at a facial.
Yeah, sweet.
These oxygen bars, man.
Bet you guys didn't know that Space Shuttle has its own oxygen bar.
It's a beautiful thing.
All right, well, welcome aboard the space station. We've spent how many days here? I don't know, 7 days, 8 days, something like that. We delivered the last pressurized module. We delivered the ELC-4. We did a whole bunch of transfer, and we outfitted the PMM as best we could with the time available. And Scott, it was a pleasure to be up here. We appreciate your hospitality. We appreciate you putting up with us, knocking your stuff off the walls, and generally trashing your station, doubling the number of people. And we appreciate you guys letting us float down to the service module and get in your way as well. And on behalf of the crew, we had a great time. We appreciate the hospitality and enjoyed the crew meals together, and we're going to miss you guys. And so thanks for everything.
I'd like to say that it was a very successful time on board with you guys. We really enjoyed having guests. This is the first group of guests I've had in about 150 days since I've been up here. And we're going to miss you. But most of all, we're going to miss Discovery. And Discovery has been a great ship and has really supported the International Space Station more so than I think any other space shuttle. And we wish her fair winds and following seas. Thank you.
Discovery and Station, this is Houston.
I had flight.
But I did want to take an opportunity while we had the whole crew there just to tell everybody it's been an honor and a privilege to work this mission with you. And we really look forward to seeing everybody back on the ground. A couple folks have asked me recently what I would feel at this moment, and I think the answer is just feel really proud to take Discovery home at the very top of her game, and a lot of that credit goes to the onboard crew. You guys rock.
Yeah, flight, and of course, we are really proud of you guys and the amount of teamwork it takes to pull this kind of mission off. It really was a incredible effort on your part, and you guys are really the unsung heroes in this. And it's so much going on simultaneously. I would imagine these last couple of days, not today, but the day before and the day before that, were probably the two most busiest days in the space station program. So, all your folks that have worked on this in both programs, shuttle and station, should be very proud.
We copy. You guys have a safe trip home. We'll see some of you sooner, but we're looking forward to seeing all of y'all back on terra firma.
Hey, and Royce from Steve, I watched you work this mission from the very beginning, and I watched your team work it. I watched you guys knock down every little problem and every little detail flat. I watched the planners replan this mission for 4 months with varying timelines as well as the shuttle side, and I just got to say it's real testimony to your team and your leads and all that you did to keep us organized, keep us focused on the tasks at hand and get it done that made this a success. We were just the executors, but you guys are the ones that really put this all together. So thank you from both crews for all that you do.
Discovery departing.
We'll miss you guys.
Discovery station on the big loop. Go ahead, Scott. Yeah, Steve, as you guys are heading home, I wanted to say one last time that we really enjoyed your company on board, and I'm really proud of what we accomplished together as a team here on the space station, but also including the larger team in Houston and all the control centers around the world. This space program and doing something as complicated as this really takes a team effort, and I think what we've proven here this last week. I'd like to wish you guys a safe rest of your flight and a safe landing, and I will see you all back in Houston here in about a week or so. Hey, Scott, I couldn't agree more. I think the team effort between our two crews and the larger ground team that planned this and put it all together, I think enabled us together to get well over 100% of our objectives. I don't know what percentage, but it's a lot more than we planned on doing. And it's been a pleasure working with your team, and look forward to seeing you guys. Have safe travel for everybody on board, and we will see you in about a week. Okay, take care. Station out. Fill out.
We've waited long for this day to come, for all the midnight lights burnt into the morning sun. I can't wait to see your sweet mysteries, the moon, the stars, the sun, the universe, the galaxies. Fly home on your silver wings with your new song for the world to sing. Light this candle, make it right. Yes, you can change the world.
Good morning, Discovery. And your wake-up music this morning was brought to you live by Big Head Todd and the Monsters.
Well, good morning, and thanks to them, and they were the #1 vote getter in the shuttle program song contest, so congratulations to them, and thanks for that special recording. It's good to be up here, looking forward to the day.
Well, on behalf of Big Head Todd and the Monsters and songwriters and artists everywhere, we just want to thank you so much for your courage and your bravery and your effort in just giving all of us a better shot at knowing more, and it's very inspirational to the arts as well.
Well, thank you very much, and we all wish you could see what we can see when we look at the Earth, and hopefully everybody will be able to do that one of these days. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Discovery has contributed greatly to the Space Shuttle program. She's flown a good portion of the major, most significant flights in the Space Shuttle program. She deployed the Hubble Space Telescope, 13 trips to the space station, contributing to the assembly of the space station in a very big way. She's been to the Mir space station. She's done science missions. She's done all of the return to flight test missions, both after Challenger and after Columbia, bringing us back into space after those tragedies. On this final day on orbit, when I think about Discovery, I think about all that. I think about all the people that went before us on this vehicle, but mostly what I think about are the thousands and thousands of people across the Space Shuttle program these past 30 years who designed this vehicle, built this vehicle, have taken care of this vehicle, in operating this vehicle, not just from the cockpit, but also those who operated this vehicle from the ground. And that is her greatest legacy to me.
Our first views of Space Shuttle Discovery as it bears down on the Kennedy Space Center. The 2 air data probes on the left and right side of Discovery's nose have been deployed. They are measuring the speed of the wind around the vehicle and updating the airspeed and rate of descent to the onboard computers.
Discovery, you are on energy approaching the hack. Latest winds now 17 peak 25 out of 150, so it's straight down the runway. We ran the energy numbers with the higher peak wind that we gave you earlier, which was the 18 peak 28, still getting you 2,200 feet down. So we'll call it 2,100 at 195.
Okay, copy that.
Discovery now approaching the heading alignment circle. This is an imaginary circle created by the microwave landing system. It It sits off the end of the runway and is about 7 miles in diameter. Commander Steve Lindsay will take over the flight of the shuttle around this circle, which will set it up for final approach. Sonic booms now heard at the Kennedy Space Center announcing Discovery's arrival, 3.5 minutes to touchdown. Discovery beginning this left-hand turn around this heading alignment circle. This will be a 252-degree left-hand turn. Pilot Eric Boa has taken over control of the flight. At this point, Discovery traveling 500 miles an hour. Its altitude 5 miles.
Discovery, we see you on at the 180.
On at the 180.
Discovery crossing out over the Atlantic, then back over the eastern edge of Florida. Commander Steve Lindsay back in control of Discovery for the remainder of this heading alignment circle. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to touchdown. Discovery traveling 440 miles an hour. Its altitude 4 miles.
Discovery, you are on at the 90.
On at the 90.
Two minutes to touchdown. Discovery traveling 400 miles an hour. Discovery beginning to line up with runway 15. This is the northwest to southeast approach at the Kennedy Space Center. During this point in the flight, the shuttle's descent rate is 20 times higher and the glide slope is 7 times steeper than a commercial airliner. Discovery speed 400 miles an hour, its altitude 2 miles, continuing to line up with the runway there at KSE.
We agree you are on, and we have good HUD video.
Very good.
The heads-up display will allow Commander Steve Lindsay to line up Discovery's nose with the runway. You will see 2 arrows approach from the bottom. He will continue to lift the nose of the shuttle up. Discovery speed 370 miles an hour. This is Space Shuttle Discovery's final minutes of flight.
Film values.
Copy.
Space Shuttle Discovery now on final approach to the Kennedy Space Center. Just more than 30 seconds to go. Discovery's gear is down and locked. Main gear touchdown. The nose of the shuttle being rotated down toward the flight deck. The parachute being deployed. And nose gear touchdown and the end of a historic journey. And to the ship that has led the way time and time again, we say farewell, Discovery.
And Houston Discovery for the final time. Wheel stop.
Discovery Houston, Pinto, great job by you and your crew. That was a great landing in tough conditions, and it was an awesome docked mission that you all had. You were able to take Discovery up to a full 365 days of actual time on orbit. I think that you'd call that a fleet leader and a leader of any manned vehicle for time in orbit. So job well done. We'll meet you in the post-landing tab. for post-landing, currently no deltas.
And copy that. Scorch, we're headed to 5-3, and I'd like to thank you and your team and all the orbit teams for a fantastic mission, as well as the Expedition 26 team on orbit. And I'd also like to thank KSC, who has given us a perfect vehicle from start to finish on her final flight.
Well said on all, and we totally agree. Thanks, Pinto.
Wow, it's great to be back. I am so thankful that we got to land back here at Kennedy Space Center, the home of Discovery. Charlie mentioned 39 flights. We believe, if we did our math right, which we may not have, this is 365 days on orbit for Discovery, an entire year in space. Discovery launched and came back on this flight just like my previous 2 flights on Discovery, with absolutely no leans against her, no single system with any problems whatsoever. And if you think about a vehicle that's 26, 27 years old, been flying for that long, to come back perfect, I have never seen an airplane be able to do that. But because of the Kennedy Space Center workforce here that takes care of this vehicle, it came back as perfect on its final flight as it did on its first flight. I'm extremely proud of this crew here. My crew did a fantastic job. The ground teams did a fantastic job. We accomplished every objective we set out to do then, and plus a whole bunch more. But it was these folks on orbit that did it. And I'm extremely proud of them and the job that they did. As Charlie mentioned, it's a pretty bittersweet moment for all of us. It's as the minutes passed, I'm actually getting sadder and sadder about this being the last flight. And I know all the folks involved in the shuttle program feel the same way. But to kind of end this, I would like to thank Bob Cabana and the Kennedy Space Center for giving us just a fantastic vehicle to fly. It was a privilege to be able to be in charge of her for just a couple of weeks. And I'm sad to give her back, but I couldn't imagine giving her back into better hands than this group right here. Thank you all for coming, and have a good day.